When we talk about reaching the heights of American and Canadian and Major League Soccer, it starts here. The end product is the World Cup. The end product is MLS Cups, but it begins here. Man, oh man, does this kid live up to the hype. A second cross floated in. Serrano! Seattle Sounders with the goal! These 15-year-olds, these 16 and 17-year-olds, to go through tournaments like this, the adversity they face. Because every single one of these players has the ability to play for your first team. Remember this when your first team lifts MLS Cups in the future.
This is the moment these young players have waited for all year. The quarterfinals of the U15 2022 Generation Adidas Cup. RSL, untouchable. They have won every game that they've played here in Dallas face-off against La Liga side Valencia for a spot in the semifinals. Hi everybody, I'm David Goss alongside former professional Michael Lahoud. We've already seen some knockout games. What's been the key to getting a win in this must-win moment?
It's been the intensity and bringing the effort, the extra effort, and it started from the front line. We've seen it in the first two games, and for this RSL team, so much has gone their way, but they're going to have to outwork this Valencia team because you know they're going to bring the energy and the technical ability.
This is a quality Valencia side. Let's take a look at the bracket and what these teams are fighting to do. We'll have the semifinals coming up tomorrow in U15 action. We've already put two teams in the semi, LAFC and the Portland Timbers, and this is an opportunity to face off against the winner of Atlanta United Tigres. Our final game coming up in a couple minutes. Let's take a look at our starting lineups. And before this game gets kicked off, the starters for these two teams. On the one side for Valencia, you've got size, you've got class. On the other side for RSL, some big name players, none so more than the central midfielder and Luis Rivera.
And also Gozo. He's brought in the goals, 4 goals to his name. He's been the danger man for them up front. He will need to be clinical in the final third for them today.
And on the flip side for this Valencia side, a ton of talent, a ton of quality, but the name you're looking at, number 7, David Otorbi.
He's a special player in this vein of La Liga talent. Look for him to pop out wide, come inside, and really function more like an attacking midfielder in this midfield 4.
And we are ready to get kicked off here. Valencia and the red kits going left to right on your screens, and RSL and their all white kits going right to left on your monitors as we are going the opening half of our 60-minute quarterfinal game here at the Generation Adidas Cup. An opportunity to get to the semifinal. Be the first one in on your side of the bracket. LAFC, a 60th minute winner to sneak by against TFC in our first game, and then a dominant performance from the Portland Timbers in our last game. And Michael, as you said in the open, it was their ability to match and outdo the intensity and energy of the Red Bulls that took the Portland Timbers to the next level.
They showed urgency from the first whistle, and I was really impressed with how the urgency came from the front line. Not just offensively, but defensively. The two wingers, I think it was Carter and Lugston, they brought the energy, and they fouled when they needed to, and this made the smart plays, the hustle plays, and that adds up over 60 minutes.
So who can step up in this game? First chance out of midfield here. Rivera. He'd been starting at center back throughout this competition and slid forward for this big game into that central midfield position. Midfield 3 between Max Laura, Luis Moisa, and Rivera.
And that midfield 3, that 3v2 matchup in the middle of the park against Valencia, that is one to keep an eye on. You have numerical advantage. Now can your midfield 2 lock up against their 2 defensive midfielders and then spring a Moisa in behind who will function as a number 10 attacking midfield.
And Hill and Domenech, the 2 forwards for this Valencia side, looking to put the pressure on early on. And we heard it from the RSL staff, heard it from everyone around here. This Valencia team, one of the most physically imposing sides. You can just see man for man, they have an inch or 2 on every player.
And their fitness level has been impressive. We've seen so many teams, international teams, come to this tournament, especially from Europe, and over the course of games fade. They're the opposite. They get better and better and better and more intense as the minutes tick.
Valencia puts that cross in. An opportunity. It falls here to Moya. Moya shot deflected. will be taken in the end for RSL in goal by Ty Rinker.
It was a smart play from Moya. Doesn't take too long. Settles the ball down on the ground and then just lobs it across the face of goal. When you do that, anything can happen. The wind hasn't been a factor so far today, but you never know when that gust of wind picks up. That ball could fly in the goal, or it could just disrupt this RSL back line.
Well, we saw two Olympicos yesterday affected by what at the time was 45-mile-per-hour winds. But as you say, a calm day here today. The heat starting to crank up here in Dallas. My weather app saying between 75 and 80 degrees. I'll say real feel 112 the way it's coming after me right now. This Valencia side exploded out of the gates. The opening group stage game, a 6-0 win over DC United. DC United team that had some expectations. A big surprise, and as you said, everyone taking notice of this Valencia side after that game. They followed that up with a 0-0 draw against Houston, but they won the penalty kick for the additional point. And a 2-1 loss to NYCFC in the last game. They were still able to secure first place in the group to get to this round. A beautiful dribble there. Moya trying to break into the box, and the tackle there from Miranda.
It's aggressive play from Moya. He's involved in a cross-come shot before this, but you want that from your wingers. As a winger, you want to test the outside back, see what he has in speed and see what he has defensively.
First corner kick of the game. Headed on to that near post. It was dangerous service in the end by Pau Domenech. That one's knocked along. Throwing coming for RSL. RSL starting in a 4-3-3. Ty Rinker in goal. Across the back line, left to right, Carlos Castrejón, Jacob Miranda, Jamani Stapleton, and Dylan Garcia. The midfield three we talked about, and Laura, Rivera, and Moisa. And the attacking three from left to right, Kevin Hernandez, Javier Gozo, and Anthony Ramirez. All three of them have scored in this competition.
Keep an eye on Gozo, who's hobbling a little bit. I think he may have taken a collision or a knock. Something to keep an eye on as this game goes on.
RSL, of course, putting together one of the most impressive academies in the country. A full residency program. No matter if you're from Salt Lake or from Hawaii, you live in the residency training multiple times a day. A charter school that RSL built themselves, that they manage right on the grounds that non-RSL players come to, as well as these RSL players, and now with MLS Next Pro and previously USL, the Real Monarchs right there. Everything in unison leading into Pablo Mastroeni's team, and we've seen it this year on the MLS level. We've seen Justin Glad and Tate Schmidt and all these players that are homegrowns that have come through in the run last year off the back of David Ochoa and Aaron Herrera.
And I've really been impressed with Herrera, a player who is underappreciated throughout the league, I think. At one point, he was one of the top assist getters from right back.
So the ball played to the near post, and Moya was looking for the run there of Heel, and not able to find it.
Moya's been active down this right-hand side, such a direct right midfielder.
No complaints there from the coaching staff for Valencia.
Torres doing well to go up against Gozo. It's going to be a good physical matchup. The two Valencia center backs are going to have to keep an eye on Gozo's movement. Gozo's not a static center forward. You'll see him drop off, and it's almost a false nine at times. He'll run in behind. He'll really test the depth of this Valencia back line.
We're here on Twitch and YouTube throughout the day. We've already got 2 games in the books. We've got one more to come after this one, as Atlanta United will face off against Tigres, looking to fill in their sides of the bracket. Valencia here against RSL. As you show off the footwork from Laura. Valencia win the ball back. And that one's knocked out. David Goss, Michael Lahoud here. We've also got our sideline reporter in Kelly Glendenning. Kelly, down to you.
Guys, with such a dense schedule here at GA Cup, it's been important for these teams to find times to take that mental break, do something other than soccer. Toronto FC, for example, who we saw earlier on this field today, they got a tour of the Dallas Cowboys facility. So I spoke with RSL's team admin, and he said yesterday, last night they went to the movies, they saw The Lost City. A lot of them fell asleep, but nonetheless, it was a good break.
Ball pulled back there. You love to hear that. Also, just a way to cool off here in Dallas at a minimum. Great job from Kelly down there on the sideline. She'll be with these coaching staffs all game, sort of picking their brains. But like we've talked about a little bit, this is the 5th game in 6 days, which there's that physical standpoint, but also the mental standpoint. This is the first game with a day off before we were thinking about the game. And it's, you know, these clubs teaching these players how to manage those emotions.
And really balance. It can't be soccer, soccer, soccer all times. You got to have balance. And when you become a professional soccer player, you have to have balance in your life. You can't just be at the training facility all day. And a lot of athletes become obsessed with their craft. That obsession is really passionate, but it has to be channeled in the right direction.
You can't be at the training facility all day unless you're named Michael Bradley. Then you would just live at the training facility. But absolutely, for these young players learning to become young men, and as I mentioned with RSL, building that academy, building that school, they are in charge of the behavioral development of these young players, not just the soccer. And that's part of what this GA Cup is, teaching them the right way to deal with stress and pressure.
And you're creating the environment and really an ecosystem for them to thrive in. It's so easy to just get talented players, throw them on the field, and expect results. They're looking at more than just what happens in the 90 minutes, because all that adds up to producing a quality professional.
There we go. So Michael Lahoud with you here from Frisco, Texas, the Toyota Soccer Center, just north of Dallas, as FC Dallas, our host for this one. They have hosted every generation Adidas Cup so far, and of course have put on some of the most impressive displays. They fell to RSL at the U15 level here in the opening game 3-1, but Weston McKinney, Reggie Cannon, Paxton Pomical, Brian Reynolds, some of the best players we've ever seen on this field at the youth levels in GA Cup have come through this FC Dallas Academy.
And where have they gone? U.S. men's national team. And that's the pathway and the end game that we want to see ultimately, to have them play in Major League Soccer and see them on the national team and in World Cups.
And we've got 3 players here on the field for RSL who will be with the US U15 national team coming up next week in Italy. Luis Rivera, the midfielder. Luis Moisa, as well as Xavier Gozo up top. They will face off against Belgium and Slovenia in that U15 Torneo de Nazionale. I didn't realize I'd have to speak Italian in this game as well, as that cross comes in, headed away at the near post. Valencia trying to keep the pressure on. Ball clipped up over the top. Heel chasing. And his cross blocked down. And RSL can't keep that one in play up the line to Kevin Hernandez.
And Valencia, they've been relentless since the first whistle. They've done a good job winning second balls. In this compact 4-4-2, they're 2 defensive midfielders. That's their primary function. You manage, you marshal, and then you pin your opponents in. Second balls and winning those individual duels in the middle of the park, so pivotal when you're playing a high-profile team.
And a free kick earned by Heel, and he has been a factor. The number 18 for Valencia, just all over the field, creating chaos.
And the movement between he and Dominic is really interesting. There's always one who drops off and one who stays high, and it's never the same person. Heel has the freedom to run in the channels, and he has the movement and the ability also in front of goal. If he gets a half chance, he's a goal poacher more than anything.
So now Heel standing over this one with Moya. It is Heel. He floats it into the far post, headed up in the air and into the safe hands of Rinker. There was Dominic with the service there. And Gozo now going forward. Brought down by Hernandez. Ball over the top. Opportunity coming here for Ramirez. And Ramirez not able to get that one under control.
It's been the first quality opportunity for Real Salt Lake. They've had to wait 12 minutes. It's good movement. Runs in behind when it's not really going your way, it's good composure in the middle of the park. And then flighted ball in. I'd like to see him do a little bit better, but the angle he has, the goalkeeper comes off his line and cuts off his angle and forces him into a save.
So it's Moisa now to take this corner kick. The corner kick coming in for RSL, their first of this game, approaching midway through this first half. Valencia organizing their lines as our head official here, WNJ, getting ready to restart play. And there's an injury back behind the play. Sorry, that I hadn't noticed. Aitor Sarabia is being looked at. He now taken off with the trainer, so we are ready to restart play here. And what can RSL make here? Moisa lining it up. Sarabia is allowed back on the field, but he was not supposed to come back on the field. There's some build-up here for this corner kick. I can guarantee you it'll be worth it. Here comes the cross, and it's cleared away at the near post immediately, and now Sarabia allowed back on the field as RSL puts it back into the box and into the safe and easy hands there of Sanchez.
And ideally, you'd like to see that corner kick clear the first man. It's one of the rules of thumbs on set pieces. And throughout this game, that's going to be a talking point for us, is in a closely contested game, set pieces, it could be the difference maker. But you got to get that first service right.
RSL will know all about that. Their U17's dominant throughout the group stage, but big moments, set pieces. They weren't able to close out games, and they were knocked out in the group stage. These U15s trying to continue on. Castrejon, a big switch of the field into the run of Ramirez. Ramirez putting the pressure on Morales. And Ramirez closes him down. Morales able to win a goal kick out of it for his team.
Interestingly enough, RSL shifting tactically, and both teams shifting tactically. RSL going to a back three. I think it's to deal with the front three of Valencia. On paper, Valencia looks like a 4-4-2, but really it becomes a flat front four. The two wingers, they're going to run in behind, they're going to be menacing, and you got to get numerical advantage in the RSL back.
Such a key part of this tournament is players, especially against international teams that I haven't seen before, recognizing what's happening and figuring out ways to adjust themselves. And a huge collision there as Castrejon earns the foul, closed down immediately by Moya.
And just as I say that, they switch back to a back four.
A free kick coming here for RSL. RSL, after the 3-1 win over FC Dallas to open the tournament, a 1-0 win over FC Cincinnati, and a 2-1 win over Tijuana to close out the group stage. And then the match of the round in the round of 16, RSL against Austin FC. And RSL able to get an early set-piece goal and hang on for the 1-0 win here at Field 4 to move into this quarterfinal. Once again, Valencia on the attack. Good recovery by Hernandez. And Hernandez now able to play out of pressure. RSL consistently looking for that early long ball, Michael, whether it's the switch or it's into Gozo.
That's because Valencia are not giving too many passing lanes. It's two blocks of four, and they're going to force you out wide and stay compact, and the opportunity then becomes over the top, runs in behind.
Again, Valencia coming up defensively there. A chance now for Ortorbi, but it'll just outrun him. For this RSL team, you know, they talked to us, they said, it's our pace versus their strength. This Valencia team pretty quick as well. It's not a huge advantage.
They've got some runners. You got to give them credit, but you also got to give RSL credit. There's balance to this RSL team, especially in attack. Their front three in particular, you've got runners, and Goza can do both. He can be technical, drop in, be the focal point. Also, his technical ability can create space and runs in lanes for teammates to run through. And Hernandez, crafty. He's more of your dribbler, 1v1 player, and Ramirez, he's your runner. Such delicate balance to this front three.
That's what you want to do to build a good team. And we have seen consistently when teams have come to GA Cup, including a Valencia that played in the final at the U17 level a few years ago, that commitment to coming here to win. Travel this far. This is not here for just the experience. And that's what we're seeing from Valencia in this one. The interception, Castrejón and Hernandez have been immense defensively on this left wing for RSL. Michael Lahoud here with you alongside Kelly Glendenning on the MLS YouTube page and Twitch. Is this one intercepted for Salt Lake? Immediately Valencia closes defensively. It's Sempre to win it back. And it just goes a little too far for Lara.
I've been impressed with Castrejón. His commitment to defending and battling is something that you need for your backline for this team when you're going up against a quality team like Valencia. He doesn't give up, and he's gone up 1v1 against Moya. Moya skinned him one time, but Castrejón, he's reacted. You need your defenders to react no matter what.
This cross comes in, a gorgeous touchdown from Domenech. And Ty Rinker, the first one to it.
The two Valencia forwards, they move in pairs, they play off each other, which is what you want to see in a 4-4-2 formation. When this ball gets wide, there's only one thing in the outside back's mind, is get the service in the box. You have numbers in the box.
Valencia. And they're all red kits flowing forward. Moya. And he will get called for the foul. The frustration from the coaching staff.
RSL doing well to match the physicality of Valencia. This is an older Valencia group, and they're going to be more physically matured versus some of the younger players. We have some 08s on the field for RSL, and they're not playing scared whatsoever. They're going toe-to-toe with them.
And you got a guy in Luis Rivera in midfield who won those 08s or December of 07, so pretty close, who has started twice for their MLS Next Pro team at a professional level. Started at center back and against Vancouver Whitecaps next to Nick Beasler, full experience center back, and you can see him sort of carrying that along here as Ortovo trying to break into the attack. But you can see those experience cycling down to the rest of this team.
And you can't be afraid to test these younger players, and credit to the RSL staff for seeing the potential, but not being afraid to throw young talent into the deep end and seeing how they do. Because that really helps the rest of this group to see one of their own getting the opportunity. They're going to take this game as the opportunity of a lifetime.
And it's that unique experience for Rivera where we talked to the staff and they said, coming off the field, he talks about how helpful Beasler was, how easy he made his life, how much he communicated. Rivera goes from the listener to now the leader, and that's part of the development for these young players.
And just, you know, the teacher becomes a pupil, and that passes down, you know, over time, and really then Rivera can come to this team and pass on what he's learned. It just makes everyone better. It becomes a domino effect.
RSL making a commitment to develop their team through their academy, and they've produced some of the best players the U.S. has ever seen. Of course, Mexican international Carlos Salcedo coming out of their academy. Time players that have gone over to Europe like Richie Ledesma, as well as Taylor Booth. And of course, a load of players that are playing in their first team week in and week out, all across at every level of the field. Valencia in possession once again. About 10 minutes left to play here in this first half. Stapleton, their first interception. Could play a little soccer tennis. Gozo trying to help his team bring it down. And now, finally, Hernandez to get that touch on the ball, but only for a moment. It's for Moya. 1v1. Castrejón stepping up. And Moya gets to the end line. The cross played in. It's stopped in the box. And RSL are able to clear it once again.
That's timely interception from Laura. If he doesn't step in there, that's a goal. And Valencia having 4 players waiting for that service in the box, that's what you want from your defensive midfielder. You read the game. It's not just about running from end to end. You have to know what's around you and sense danger, and Laura does that on that play.
Well, we saw the replay there. Michael, 10 minutes left to play in this first half. Is this sustainable from RSL sitting in and absorbing that pressure from Valencia?
I think they're going to have to rethink things and just get the ball back on the ground. I think this ball's been up in the air too much for them. They're looking to break in behind time and time again, but they have chances of combining through the midfield. There's more time and space than they think. And really, they're going to have to go out wide. And the outside backs, I think Castrejón, he's been locked in defensively because of the running of Moya.
Once again, Moya stretching the field. He has been the outlet offensively. Castrejón pushing him wide. The touch, and it's just over the crossbar from Domenech.
Valencia have been active down this right-hand side. We've said these 2 players' names, Moya and Domenech. Moya doing well to skate past Castrejón, instant cross from him, and that's such a difficult technique to be able to hit that first time, open up your body. We saw it in the CONCACAF Champions League semifinals. Raul Ruiz-Diaz did it to perfection. The ball comes in, and in stride, he takes it.
Yeah, that difference of having to take one touch and being able to finish first time. As you go up the levels, that's the difference between an elite goal scorer and a dangerous player.
And that's the difference oftentimes between advancing and not advancing in tight games.
Miranda closed down immediately. Castrejón under pressure once again. Knocked away by Moya and put out by Miranda. For Valencia, they're almost fighting the clock here, Michael. They don't want this half to end. They've got that momentum.
Oh, and they're doing it through physical play and intensity and just maintaining that intensity. In this heat, you have to applaud them. It takes a lot out of you.
Castrejón out wide to defend again. He stands up to it. And there'll be a corner kick coming for Valencia.
And you see the 2 different temperaments from benches. RSL, there's a bit of composure there. It's a bit quieter. This Valencia bench, from the first whistle, they have been loud, shouting, willing this team forward.
Also like the players there about 3-4 inches taller than the RSL bench. Domenech puts it to the far post, flicked on by Gozo. This is a tough header coming back to his own goal.
And you need everyone involved in this defensive effort for RSL. The longer this goes 0, the more questions and mind games become asked of Valencia, because they're expecting to get this goal. They've been putting so much pressure on this RSL attack. If you can get into halftime without conceding a goal, that's a big win for RSL.
Cross comes in, knocked down at the top of the 6, and it eventually rolls out. Or excuse me, the flag goes up against Kiel. 5 minutes to play. This opening 30-minute half here. Fabregas, Michael Lahoud, and Kelly Glendenning on site for you. 2022 Generation Adidas Cup U15 action. We've got U17s off today. We saw 4 round of 16 games yesterday, including the unbelievable LA Galaxy Manchester United game we'll close out with. Alejandro Alcala putting on a show, as did Adam Berry for Manchester United, who won 5-4 on penalty kicks. They move on to face River Plate. We've got Monterrey against the Seattle Sounders at U17 action to open up tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time, and then the semifinals of the U15 action. The opener will be LAFC against the Portland Timbers. Who will it be from these 2 teams moving in to the semifinal? battling through, and Hernandez earns the foul. And Hernandez and Castrejon, they have been under pressure. They've worked so far in this game.
And Hernandez has looked the most likely spark for this RSL team. He's one of the shortest guys on the field, but he's got the biggest heart, inviting pressure. He doesn't care. He'll take it on. And this is now where it gets interesting. Valencia, it's been mostly Valencia with the dangerous chances, but RSL, can you do a smash and grab job and get a goal before half?
The El Paso native back in Texas here, Luis Rivera. The second youngest player on the field, but the most experienced at the highest level. Can he create a moment of brilliance for his team? Rivera drives it off the wall. Headed up in the box, a line for RSL. And the touch just a little too long for Ramirez.
And it's the second time Ramirez has had a golden look at golden opportunity. And it's his technique that lets him down on there. So difficult to do, to know where the ball's going to go.
Moya now once again takes no time to get back into the attack. And the battle there defensively. The work being done. And it's Dylan Garcia coming all the way across the field.
You have to have everyone making big plays in both boxes, and it's the left back bailing out this Real Salt Lake back line. If he does not make that tackle, Moya is running straight towards goal. Not at the best angle that he wants, but it doesn't matter. You don't want your attacker running towards goal like that. Excellent defensive work, though. 1v1 defending.
Otorbi somehow keeps that one in play. It's been a quiet game for him. It finally runs over the end line. You mentioned RSL pinned back so far, doing the work defensively. For more on that, let's go down to the sideline with Kelly Glendenning.
Head coach Andrew May has been up on his feet most of this game, one of the more vocal coaches that we have seen today, and he's really encouraging his team to help build from the back. Don't just bomb it down the field, but instead find those shorter passes, and he's telling his team, don't hide and don't be scared. Let's continue to build.
And that conversation about hiding, it's one of the conversations for young players that's always, you know, you think, and I remember the first time I sort of heard this explained, of like, I go out and play soccer and it's noticeable as this one comes through. A big save from Rinker and the transition for RSL, but it's noticeable who's demanding the ball, who's coming in, finding the ball in big moments. And for RSL, they're still looking for that piece. You mentioned it's really been Mendez, and that's it.
And you'd like to see more and more players continue to step up and gain confidence and not be intimidated. Yeah. This Valencia team, they want to physically intimidate you with their intensity, with their strength, but this is where your composure, who is willing to take on the pressure, who's willing to take on their high press. They've set a high line, and they're throwing 4 guys at you. If you can have the wherewithal and the vision to then bounce passes and break lines in passing, now you're running at an exposed Valencia team.
And this one bounces up in the air. An opportunity on the break. Heel in on goal. The save made by Rinker. And then a foul the other way. The biggest chance of this first half. Falling to Rafael Heel.
And the biggest save of this first half being made by Rinker. Rinker stepped up moments ago. You need your goalkeeper to be focused, especially when your team is under pressure. And oh man, this ball bouncing in behind. RSL's backline gets caught flat-footed, but Rinker is so quick to react off his line. Well done from him. Quality goalkeeping.
Yeah, Miranda not able to deal with the clearance. It bounced over Stapleton's head. And Heel was lurking just behind him as Castellón closed down. The save by Rinker. I mentioned the USU 15s and their trip next week. They'll bring along a goalkeeping coach and an MLS legend in Nick Raimondo, who's actually sitting on the sideline off to our left, the academy goalkeeper coach working with the young players like Blake Kelly, who we saw at the U17 level, and here Ty Rinker, and he'll be happy with what he saw right there as Rinker kept his team in it. RSL, they've been pushed, but they've not broken yet in this one. Holding strong at 0-0 at halftime. We've got 30 more minutes to decide who moves on to the semifinals here at the U15 level from the 2022 Generation Adidas Cup.
What the foreign country have done in 1 century, we did it in 10 years.
The great soccer pioneer Lamar Hunt once said, "I get asked this a lot. Why has soccer not succeeded? My answer is, soccer has succeeded. It is already the fastest growing youth participation sport in the U.S. It has already succeeded at the youth level, no question." Lamar Hunt envisioned early on that youth development would play a vital part in the growth of soccer in the United States. But to measure how far we've come as a soccer nation starts here in Frisco, Texas. The Generation Adidas Cup brings Major League Soccer academies face-to-face against international powerhouses from all over the world. Since the introduction of this tournament, and in the last few years alone, the youth game has gone through a metamorphosis. But what is being done at the youth level to advance the game?
The game, the players, and our coaches.
Through a partnership with the French Football Federation, Major League Soccer began prioritizing the education of coaches in every level, and alongside on-field competition and the development of a player itself, encompassed the 3 pillars of focus towards advancing the youth game.
We have put in a lot of time and effort on coaching development. So I think that the results of that are starting to happen. The coaches who have gone through the French EFCL, the French Federation course, we're starting to see how that has changed in the way their teams are approaching the game and the way that they're playing. The fact that our clubs now are going younger and younger, bringing in kids at the ages of, in some cases, 11 and 12 years old, it's giving them a little bit of longevity and preparation in the way that they are building a young professional. So they're taking it from a young age, developing their technical skills, developing the tactical awareness of the game, improving their physical conditioning and their mental approach to the game. So I think we're starting to see the results. Every year for the last 3 years, we've seen an improvement of the quality of play, and I think we're seeing it this year, that our clubs are slowly but surely catching up to the international clubs.
We cannot develop better kids if we don't have better teachers. So we have done a lot of work on this subject. The last aspect is the competition aspect. We all know if we want to improve our kids, we need to develop them with more meaningful competition. And the GA Cup is a perfect example of this effort. In one side, we try to benchmark our players and our coaches against the best team of the world, and Real Madrid is here to highlight that. But it's also, in the other side, the opportunity to create a coaching symposium to try to link both competition and coaching education, and to make sure we have different layers in this process to upgrade and to improve everyone.
We can't afford to have this traditional mentality that we know everything, because the second we think that, we're going to stop growing. So as a nation, and I feel the more curious we are about the game itself, and put the ego to the side, and realize that there's a lot more to learn than what we know, then I think our development's going to have another boost.
In the previous structure that we had, when a player was good in an academy, almost he was the one that was getting the least coaching, because the clubs did not want to lose that player. Now I think we're creating an environment that is full of good players, so therefore those special players now are going to have to push themselves, and that's going to help them to raise the level and become those world superstars. So I have no doubt that in a short period of time, we're going to see very special players. We're starting to see that.
Giovanni Reyna steps to the spot and puts his team ahead in extra time of the Premier Division Championship. sub comes in. Yeah. Welcome everybody to Generation Adidas Cup. It's quarterfinal action, RSL against Valencia. As RSL hanging on in that first half to get to halftime at 0-0. And RSL, a lot to talk about at that halftime between this team, as Michael, you touched on it a couple times, trying to bend but not break, but really struggling to stay in the game in that first half.
And they were defending way too much. It's down to the aggressive play of Valencia. But this is where now you have a time to breathe. That first half, that's a win for them because they didn't give up a goal. Even when you're not playing your best offensively, if you don't concede, you give yourself a chance to get back in this game.
And RSL feeling like they didn't have enough quality playing the ball out of the back and in central midfield. So they make a substitution. Jacob Miranda, the left center back, moves to left back. They move Luis Rivera from central midfield back to his more natural left center back position. And then Dominic Barrios is the man who comes in to that central midfield spot. And Michael, we heard Kelly talk about it in the first half. I heard similar of don't hide. Want the ball, believe in yourself, and they need to be able to break this Valencia pressure.
And now you have a center back who can. And that's why Rivera is back there. His ball playing, not just ball winning in the middle of the park, but his composure playing, being able to see the entire field. Now, that's going to give a leg up for this RSL backline dealing with this Valencia press, who are coming with a high press. If now you have Rivera getting the ball, splitting the lines, then you have less of a Valencia team you have to break down.
Valencia, Michael, how will they feel about that first half, not being able to score the goal? How will they feel? And the focus here for this second half coming as Valencia, the shot, and it's saved once again from Rinker off the foot of Domenech.
If it wasn't for Rinker, Valencia would be up a couple goals. That just has to be said. Rinker doing well to make himself big. He keeps himself central. As soon as this ball squirts through, it's nervy moments for RSL, but Rinker, he comes off his line again and closes down the gap between he and the shooter.
So the corner kick now played in as Valencia going back to work offensively. It falls in the box and then popped over the top by Torres.
At halftime, listening to this Valencia staff, their head coach said that he was pleased, but they need to win. He asked for more being aggressive and then more intensity. He said, we have 0 goals. We've been playing well. We have 0 goals, which isn't good enough. We can't let this game get open.
And it's opportunity here once again from Domenech. And it goes just wide. And you could sort of feel for Valencia and in your comments from what they said of you worry how long you let another team stay in it when you've been dominant. How often do we see in the game of soccer that if you let a team stay alive, they can hurt you?
Well, you're giving them a free pass with some of the chances. They had 3 quality looks at goal, and it's down to the play of Rinker. Look at Rivera, just the cool, calm, and composed dribbling ability to get out of pressure.
And I think a handball called there in the middle of the field, and that's why he's been put back there for RSL. They were not able to break Valencia's pressure a single time in the first half.
He reads the game so well, not just a good and gifted passer, but a leader for this team and a leader defensively.
Or Torby sliding it in for Domenech, and then coming over is Stapleton taking that one away. Excuse me, the substitute Barrios.
It's good defensive work from RSL. As soon as Rivera has gone back, there's been a bit more calm to this team and a bit more team mentality, a bit more energy to them, much more than we saw in the first half.
30-minute halves here. RSL and Valencia, 25 more minutes to go to battle along in this second half. Their 5th of 6 games so far this week for these young players, as Hernandez is trying to keep that one in play. Hey, we got Michael Lahoud with you. We got Kelly Glendenning down on the sideline. So we'll be chatting a little bit with some of this RSL staff as well.
Interesting tactical move from Salt Lake. They moved Gozo out to the right-hand side as a winger, and Ramirez as a center forward. Ramirez, he's had 2 half chances for Salt Lake, really the only offensive output that they've had. And then I think they're trying to isolate Gozo 1v1. He hasn't really had much space to operate centrally, and that's down to Valencia and their back line. Pinching space, being tight, being alert wherever he goes. He is their leading goal scorer in this tournament.
And they do have a goal from all four players in the attacking front four. So they have the ability to swap guys in and out. They can all do a little bit of everything. Goza almost invisible in that first half. No service for him. And now Rivera. That one to the top of the 18. Barrios. Keep it in a safe spot for RSL. Immediately, Torby on the attack. They're won well by Garcia.
And Torby's a name we haven't called much, and that's down to Real Salt Lake's midfield. Every time he gets the ball, they crowd him. They get numbers across, and there's just a heightened sense of urgency about Salt Lake. That's been one of the times I've seen that most, is when he gets the ball. When the other team's best player gets the ball, you don't want to be relaxed. You need to be tensed up and ready to be combative.
And after that tackle from Garcia, there was a little back and forth between Torby and Garcia. So something to watch out for, as we saw in the last game of yesterday with Alcala going against the Man U fullbacks. That battle starts to build. What did I do last time? What did you do last time? And now that back and forth starting between those two players.
And that's the competitive nature that you want, though. That's the essence of these knockout games, these quarterfinal games. It's going to get chippy, and really it's that desire to win. Both these teams, they've worked their socks off to get here. They want to win.
Obviously, character, heart, and desire. Those are normally the first three things Pablo Mastroeni says when he starts any conversation about the sport of soccer, and it's being built in RSL from the top down in their culture. And these young RSL players show a little bit of that here in this second half. Space now. Ramirez's cross is immediately blocked down. Moisa can't keep it in the attack. And the clearance for Valencia, and now a chance to go in transition. Domenech has runners both sides of him for Valencia, flying forward. Domenech keeping it himself, trying to get to the end line, and puts it behind the goal.
That's good defending from Rivera. Valencia running with a 3v2 counterattack and really a 4v3 counterattack. And when Domenech gets this ball, he's pump faking, funk faking. And then Rivera, he keeps his feet moving, but he doesn't bite. And then he closes down the angle, forces him wide, and forces an errant shot from Domenech.
We haven't seen Valencia in transition much. It's more been pressing or in possession. I feel like Domenech was prepared to make a decision there which way he wanted to go. He had runners on both sides.
But for Valencia, all their chances have come off of recovery work and defensive work. Defensive transition is one of their strengths to their game, and being a team in transition. But on that play, I think Domenech was a bit indecisive. I think he was always going to take it himself, but he needed to pull the trigger a bit earlier.
Stapleton. All right, center back looking to put this one up the field. Beautifully laid off by Goza. And now Garcia playing it into the middle. Can't find a teammate, though. A collision. We play on as RSL push forward. And Laura. Barrios, he's been a bright spark off the bench for them. Goza's in along the right side, and the offside flag goes up.
For a brief moment, I thought that was going to be the chance for Real Salt Lake, but much better from the two defensive midfielders. And Barrios, since he's come in, he's really matched this Valencia midfield too, with the intensity and the dueling in the middle of the park. Look, if you want to get back in the game, you have to take away the thing that your opponent wants to do. And this Valencia team, they want to beat you up and then hit you on the counter.
Their layups in there says the goalkeeper for RSL's put in a shift. His name's Ty Rinker. He has been impressive in this game. He might have a little bit more work to do here.
Keep an eye on Torres for Valencia, one of the tallest players on the field. He's going to be a set-piece target.
RSL preparing their next substitution. All played in at the near post. It's just not the contact that he was looking for from Moreno.
Nor the service. Seen a couple times in this game, just the service not beating the first man. If you want to give your teammates a chance, you got to beat the first man.
One of the stars of this team, Luis and Luca Moisa, coming off here, coming on number 32. Roberto Garcia. Garcia looks like we'll slot back into that central midfield spot. Good footwork here, and then the slip from Barrios. Barrios, the halftime change, has really helped this one. He puts that one on the switch field into the foot of Garcia. Garcia slips this one through. Goza challenging the back line. The cross, and it's a goal! What a goal for RSL! End to end! And they somehow take the lead!
This is an amazing team goal from Real Salt Lake. Hernandez will get the plaudits, rightfully so, with the finish. But Garcia, with this through ball, slips it in from the right back position. And then look at the run. They had moved Goza from center forward to right wing, and it pays off. Delicious service from him, and good vision to pick out Hernandez wide open at the back stick. And look at the acrobatic finish. He had all the time in the world. The gamble to get in there as a winger, and all you need when your opponent isn't taking care of their chances, all you need is one chance. We said in the first half, at what point does Valencia rue these misses? Well, this is the moment. It's 1-0 RSL.
Hernandez, his second goal of the tournament. He had the winner against FC Cincinnati. And the ball from Barrios, he beat a man 1v1, and that's the first time we've seen a switch of the field that broke Valencia's pressure. It allows Garcia to get that ball up the line. Those 4 passes were incredible.
It's a combination of composure and vision. To be able to have the composure to ward off the high press from Valencia. Ooh, that's a tough tackle. Both players going down.
And Sempre here will pick up the yellow card. And the truck, they give for the first time ever the full 10 bottles of hot sauce on the side volley. It was team build-up goal, the 2 best team build-up goals we've seen in this tournament. Both RSL goals, 17s and 15s. That is the RSL DNA right there.
Could that go down as goal of the tournament? That has my vote so far. It's been one of the best goals I've seen in this tournament.
It has my vote too. The finish as well as the build-up. Unbelievable from RSL to rebound from that first half. Valencia applied all the pressure. RSL, their heads hanging at halftime, and they pull themselves out of it. Barrios, this young man, his introduction has been crucial to RSL. Can he continue to create for his team? RSL now in that final third. Free kick coming. And you can hear the RSL U17. They're alive. It was right in front of them that Hernandez scored that unbelievable goal. And they are willing their team back into this one. One's here preparing their first sub of the game. We will see. What can RSL do with this set piece? Garcia's crosses cleared away. Miranda trying to hold that one in. And he feels he got pulled back. And for more on the substitution, let's go down to the sideline to Kelly Glendenning.
Yeah, right when they made that sub, I spoke to one of their assistant coaching staff, and he said, you know, this Barrios, he really brings that quality into the midfield. And the thing is, though, he's not afraid to take players on 1v1, so he thinks that there can be a bit more control of the ball, and then also that attacking prowess going forward.
And that is exactly what we have seen here, Michael, and it's the perfect move as Valencia will finally make their change. Coming off is Aitor Sarabia. Coming on in this one for Valencia is Diego Garcia.
As Kelly said, with Barrios coming in, we talked about what the staff was demanding, not hiding.
Yeah.
He's a player, and all you need is one player who says, you know what, I will stand up, be counted, I will take responsibility over this game in this moment, and it's a domino effect. It becomes contagious. You see it with some of the step-overs, and just the composure, and being able to connect the dots. In the first half, they weren't connecting enough passes. Now you have almost your midfield general through Barrios on the field.
All over the top. Stapleton now under pressure, wins the first header. What does Valencia have in this one? They've been structured. They've been dangerous. They've pressed hard. They had a number of chances. but Rinker kept RSL in it. Right now, Hernandez has put RSL ahead. These teams battling it out here down the right side midway through this second half. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We've got some sauce alerts as well in the chat. Beautiful touch here from the substitute, and it goes just wide. What a shot from Garcia. What a touch.
We've seen subs have impacts on this game for Real Salt Lake. They brought in Barrios, Valencia responding, and Garcia. What a goal this would have been. Gets the first touch, juggles it over Stapleton's head like he wasn't even there, and that ball is bending away. Just so unfortunate that it bends away from the far post. If he hits it differently, I think he gets just the wrong spin on it, slicing away from goal.
RSL. Now they're okay for letting the game die down a little. Now that they've gotten their go-ahead goal, this young man, Kevin Hernandez, we're going to be seeing that one for a while on our channels as well as on RSL's, as now Moya, he was the main man in the first half. He's been quiet here in the second half. And the battle there, and Rivera showing what he can bring to that back line, slides it away. We've talked about it in some of our games. You mentioned it with Barrios. There are players who, they invite pressure, because if you're coming at me at full speed, it makes it easier for me to pass around you, to dribble around you, as this shot comes over the top. And you mentioned that with Barrios being one of those guys, the domino effect we've seen across this RSL team.
And if you go further back at the start of the half, it started for their captain, Rivera, on a play where it was building out of the back. The coaching staff, they've been adamant about building out of the back, sticking to their DNA. We're not going to scrap this. We're not going to start lumping balls forward. That favors this bigger Valencia team. And Rivera, he had the composure and the confidence to dribble past two Valencia players. Now that passes on to Barrios, and Barrios, oh, that vision and the technique to find Garcia leads to a goal.
Ramirez chasing up top. He wins a free kick in a dangerous area for this RSL side.
It's been a different look since moving Ramirez higher up the field. He's pushed this Valencia back line and two center backs back because he's running in behind. He's stretching them, which is creating the space for Barrios to operate. In the first half, there were two banks of four, and RSL were trying to play too much defeat. You got to go for plan B, start running in behind. Ramirez was effective in the first half doing that.
Garcia, under service this time, still won by Valencia in a dangerous moment now. In transition, Valencia going forward. The accidental handball from Diego Garcia.
And since coming on, Valencia have made a positional change. Domenech, who played as a withdrawn forward second striker, he's now as the out-and-out attacking midfielder. And it's really looking like a diamond or really a 4-1 with two strikers and an attacking midfielder and a winger.
Valencia now. The red kits with the black shorts. We talked about it a couple times. The travel, the heat, the conditions, unique here in Texas for every team, especially for some of these international teams. Now in the past, historically, the international teams have actually risen and gotten stronger as the tournament's gone along. Valencia, does that goal break their spirit here a little bit? In this early part of the second half, a dangerous moment there. And immediately, their head official, NJ, goes to his pocket. And so it's a yellow card.
In different games, it's a reckless challenge. You could easily give that a red card. Because when that ball's bouncing in the air, he's coming in with a high boot. Yeah, oof, it's a nasty challenge. Anything, a kick to the face, anything in the face. Very fortunate for the defender that that wasn't given another way. But rightfully so, yellow card.
And I agree with you, Michael. That was a dangerous moment. So Valencia preparing another substitute. Fortunately, Alberto Garcia okay to continue for RSL. We approach the final 10 minutes of this one. We would have thought you were lying if you told us 30 minutes ago that RSL would be leading going into the last 10 minutes with a dangerous set piece. But that's the case. Floated in and into the hands of Pedro Sanchez. And immediately, the counter is on. Or Torby, the danger man all tournament, slips it through to the substitute, Garcia. And who else but Rivera to defend them all.
In the first half, Garcia chased down the Valencia attacker. I think it was Moya coming across the goal. And that's team defending. And really, your two center backs, you want them to be a partnership. When one center back gets beat, the other one has to be there. And there have to be that cover in order to protect this lead.
Valencia, no. They're in trouble now. They will look to make 3 substitutions and try and change things up here. And Garcia with that header. It goes up for a second challenge. Stapleton can get his head on that one. Rivera lets it bounce. Dangerous moments. Rivera can only get it as far as Garcia. And both players go down, and the foul will go against Stapleton.
This is a bit casual from Rivera, the captain for Real Salt Lake. You do not ever want to let the ball bounce in your defensive end. Anything can happen, especially on this hard surface. And because of that, give credit to Valencia for not giving up on that play. To Garcia, he's been a live wire for them since coming on. Already had a golden opportunity and now creates this set piece opportunity.
Valencia still trying to find that opening goal. 6 goals in the opening game against DC United. Not a team that has struggled in the attack. What can Marino do here? And Valencia, will make their subs first. So Domenech, his afternoon is done. What's coming up for him is Marcos Perez. The right back, Lara's game is over as well. Coming on for him is Hector Sanchez. So a center forward for a right back. And Pedro Puig, the other substitute, coming on. And here's the free kick under the wall. And who else but Ty Rinker, the goalkeeper, standing up strong.
And for as much credit as you want to give Hernandez with the acrobatic finish, RSL would not be in this game had it not been for the spectacular play of Rinker. He does well to not just save that, but also not give up a rebound. Just quality goalkeeping for him through the course of this game.
And under the watchful eye of arguably the greatest goalkeeper in MLS history, in Nick Raimondo, over there with the RSL Academy as their goalkeeper coach.
And what a great person to learn from, a mentor.
Goalkeeper who it wasn't his physicality that brought him to the top. It was his shot stopping, his technique, his ability to read the game. That's exactly what you want young goalkeepers to be around.
And also his ability to play out of the back, some of the best feet. When we did the five-a-side, MLS five-a-side team of all-time draftees, hey, he made my team. I know he's a goalkeeper, but could easily have functioned as a midfielder.
Miscast in his day. A turnover here, a dangerous moment. Gozo pressuring. And Valencia fortunate to get out of that one. 7 minutes left to play. Stapleton steps forward. Valencia, they had a huge opportunity to take a one-goal lead early in this second half. They haven't had a chance since the RSL goal. Cleared up the field there by Garcia. And pressure put on up high. Hernandez now the goal scorer. He's got a 3-on-2 if he goes quickly. Plays into the path of Gozo. Gozo trying the back heel, and he's in an offside position.
I think Hernandez waited too long to make that pass. If you're going to dribble, you have to be more decisive. You either go 1v1 and really have to pick up your head because Ramirez was streaking down the right-hand side, wide open. I think he just got caught in two minds. And by the time he decided to play the ball, Gozo, who made the correct run, but just it was too late and correctly called offside.
But it does feel like Valencia pushing these numbers forward, the subs they've made, they're going to leave themselves open. And one of the things we've seen in this tournament is teams that don't put in that second goal, they've been hurt the other end. We've seen stoppage time equalizers pretty much in every game.
And Valencia throwing everybody forward, as you said. But on the flip side of that, there will be gaps on the counter in transition for Real Salt Lake.
That ball wasn't sneaked through as Rivera clears it up the field. Valencia bring down that second ball. Straight up the middle for Valencia, and the foul will go against Hector Sanchez.
What I've liked that Salt Lake has not done, they haven't changed how they're playing. They're not just going conservative and saying, hey, let's see this out for the last 5 minutes. And we've seen some teams hit the panic button and say, okay, well, they've got enough chances. Let's just see it out. I rarely agree with that unless you're playing maybe like Messi or someone.
Could be the next Messi in this Valencia side. But for RSL, they're in a spot of comfort. In the round of 16, it was a 1-0 win over Austin. To close out the group stage, a 2-1 win over Cholos and a 1-0 win over FC Cincinnati. So that at this point, they have experience seeing out a 1-goal lead.
And putting your captain in his rightful position, that always helps. It brings solidarity to a team that I wouldn't be surprised if you see Rivera start going back naturally to a center back position, not just for his sake, but for this RSL sake. They're built on defense first. They have the attackers, but they've kept the shutouts, and that is what matters most as you get a knockout competition.
That one cleared up the field. Or Torby, it's been a tough afternoon for him. Hasn't found the gaps that he's seen in the other games. Valencia, the shove in the back. The foul will go against Moya. He's had a frustrating afternoon. He was a constant in the first half along that right wing. And for Valencia, it just felt like a matter of when, not if. And now we're talking about an if they can sneak their way back in this one. All of a sudden, and that's why this is a beautiful game.
And we're really, we should be talking about is what might have been for them because of the play of Moya in this game, and really that's down to the space opened up because of Ortubi. So much focus being put on him, and rightfully so, because he's so dangerous on the dribble, but very quiet in this game, opens up passing lanes for Moya. But when you have those half chances and full chances, you have to bury them if you're Valencia.
Gozo with the shot! And a bouncing ball falls to Xavier Gozo. We have seen every time he touches the ball the class that he brings.
And being on this right-hand side, he's flourished much more. Getting inside, and oof, he gets all of that left-footed shot. A player who can hit the ball with either foot. And similar to some of the other shots we see, that ball just slices it, going the wrong way, spinning away from goal.
It was Rivera's ball over the top to start this run of play now for RSL. Man, who maybe is the reason that RSL's turned it around, and Barrios not able to keep playing. Or Torbio, that's the runs we've expected from him. And who else but Rivera stands him up.
His team defending from Real Salt Lake, where Torby can turn on the jets, so dangerous with the ball at his feet.
An opportunity to get to the left foot here. Pulled across. Winkin gets a hand to it. Stapleton's clearance is still in the box. And now RSL push it away.
Rinker coming up with another massive intervention again for RSL. You need to be able to win the battle of both boxes. And without him as their goalkeeper, they may not be up 1-0 today.
Ty Rinker, an incredible performance in this game. We also have to give a tip of the cap to Andrew May, the head coach for RSL. He made the change for Barrios at halftime. He brought Rivera deeper, and it has been a whole new half in this second half. So it was the right move. They pushed the right buttons at the right time.
And different players, because of their skill sets, they fit what the game needed and needs. RSL, what they needed was just composure in the middle of the park. Barrios brings that, but also they needed leadership and more of a physical presence. Rivera brings that, more of a steady presence for them.
All up the line. Valencia still looking to create that last goal. Puig on the ball. He puts it by Garcia. He stands up once again. Good game from Dylan Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia has really been impressive in this game, not just offensively with that pass, but also defensively winning that 1v1 duel.
RSL wins that ball back once again. We are approaching stoppage time here. Somehow RSL survived the first half under immense pressure from Valencia without giving up a goal, and they've turned things around here in the second half. After the substitution at halftime, the conversation at halftime for RSL, and one of the best goals we have seen in this tournament. Barrios to Garcia to Goza, and Kevin Hernandez with the side volley to put it home.
It's just dynamic movement from back to front from Salt Lake.
Corner kick now for Valencia. Put into the box, headed away by Stapleton. Will beat the second man. Flipped back in by Valencia. Opportunity here, and it's the equalizer. Valencia fighting all first half. They can't find the ball, and eventually it's the center back Marino on the second ball.
How many times have we seen this story unfold in the GA Cup? If you leave a team hanging around, they will come back and set pieces again. Valencia, just when they look like they were done and dusted, it's a last-minute set piece that helps them out and saves their backside, and a center back. In big competitions, time and time again, you see your center backs they're not your renowned goal scorers. They tend to have the knack for stepping up in the big moments. And because that ball bounces in the box, it spills through, and then Marino reacting quickest. Oh, man, got a feel for RSL, but applaudits to Marino. When that ball gets there, he has the composure and the technique and the quality to put it past Rinker.
And that second ball, chaotic moments for the back line. And we've seen Marino, he stood over 2 or 3 dangerous set pieces. So the trust in his ability to finish from this coaching staff, he took that one well.
And for Salt Lake, when that ball is in the air, they do the right thing. The first initial reaction is get your lines up. But then there's no one looking around. There's no one barking orders. And you really want to see them develop in that. I would like to see Rivera be the one as the center back, as the leader of his team, looking around and organizing that back line.
If we end in a tie, we will go to penalty kicks. We've yet to be in PK so far today. LAFC, a 59th minute winner in the opening game over TFC. Portland Timbers, a dominant 2-0 performance against New York Red Bulls in our second game. And in this one, it has been one of the most topsy-turvy games we've seen so far in this U15 competition. A dominant first half from Valencia, an early goal in the second half from RSL, and then this stoppage time equalizer to keep the La Liga side in it. Barrios into Miranda. Big tackle coming forward as they're spacing this one for RSL. Turned over from Ramirez. And the final kick. One of the best goals we've seen of the tournament. One of the most dramatic goals we've seen of the tournament. Diana, what else could this game have? Michael Lahoud, we are headed to penalty kicks.
And that's been just, I feel like since I got here. The Lahoud mood is tense right now, and rightfully so. These two teams, neither team willing to back down. Credit to Real Salt Lake, turn it around from what was a poor first half from them, respond, making the right changes, and also credit to Valencia. They responded, getting changes. They really went for it, and set pieces once again. They will be the talking point going through penalty kicks.
And I love this from Amin NYC in the chat, who says, at least we don't have to wait as long in between games. I love that. Bonus soccer, some drama in penalties. We've got Atlanta versus Tigres coming up at 7 p.m. Eastern time, and we are headed to penalty kicks. And Michael, we have in this competition, because of the group stage format and ties going to penalty kicks, these teams do have some experience in penalty kick shootouts. RSL have not. They won every single game cleanly in the group stage. They were one of the best teams that we saw throughout this competition. But for Valencia, this will be their third penalty kick shootout. And this goal from RSL.
And we got here because of the play of Barrios and the slip ball in from Garcia. But look at the finish from Hernandez. Credit goes to each of those players. Just the composure to get out of pressure. But Valencia, they would not give up. And it's a defender, Marino. When that ball pinballs in the box, it's who reacts quickest. Marino and Valencia react quickest. And that's why we're here. He gets the quality finish back in the net.
So Valencia in this competition have been in a number of penalty kick shootouts. They were able to beat Houston Dynamo 5-3 in the second game in that PK shootout. And that was really the result that got them into the next round in first place. It was an additional point for that. Anything overall, if you're a coach, that you say to your team going into these shots?
For Valencia, and going back to the Lahoot there from yesterday, it's the team. The mood is a vibe. The mood is a vibe. Let's get the knife and let's separate that. But with the theorem, my theorem is that the team who has momentum going into penalty kicks, they oftentimes win. We saw it with Manchester United yesterday. Yeah. They had more momentum late in the game. They got the result. And could that be playing out today?
Yeah, everything about body language, confidence, mentality. These players know how to hit a ball from 8 yards away into the goal. It's all about how you handle this big pressure.
And because of that late goal, this Valencia team, they are oozing with energy and really just that team presence about them. And for RSL, you see a couple heads down, a couple body languages down, but they do have the PK master and Nick Raimondo in their back pocket as a coach.
Up the sleeve, Nick Raimondo, the greatest goalkeeper stopping penalties in MLS history, is the academy goalkeeper coach. Off to our left for RSL. And what can he give to Ty Rinker here to help him try and get his team over the top? It'll be Rinker against Sanchez in goal as we begin our penalty kick shootout here, our third of 4 quarterfinal streams from Frisco, Texas, the 2022 Generation Adidas Cup at the U15 level. Our head official NJ will talk to the 2 goalkeepers first, and it looks like it will be Valencia to shoot first. Rankin goes into goal. And you can see all the players crowding behind the goal. This is the only game going on right now here at the Toyota Soccer Center. So all of the attention is on these 2 teams. And it looks like it'll be the substitute, Marcos Perez, to take this first shot.
And these are the longest steps that some of these players can take in a moment like this. So much emotions, so much drama leading to this moment. This is where you have to steady yourself, be composed.
Perez to open up our shots, best of 5. We go to sudden death if necessary after that. Rinker in goal. And Perez right down the middle.
Perez had a casual walk up to this from midfield to the spot, but he strides up to it. And for a split second, he didn't hit it with a ton of pace, but he goes right down the middle, and that can be a bit of Russian roulette. Sometimes you overthink it, but he knows exactly what he's doing. Nestles in the back of the net.
It'll be the center mid, Max Laura, to take on this second shot. And the challenge always as the second team shooting is the pressure to match what the team before you did. Laura steps up to this one, the first penalty kick shootout of the tournament for RSL. The long straight run up for Laura as well against Pedro Sanchez. And Laura sticks it in the corner.
Laura's had a solid game so far. Quality 60 minutes, a steady presence in this Salt Lake midfield, and shows why he's the first kicker in this shootout. Opens up his body, sends the keeper the wrong way.
It'll be the center back, number 2 for Valencia, in Carlos Torres. Torres now steps forward. Right for the shooter as well. This one. And Torres keep his steam ahead. Torres the shot, the slow run up. And immediately the emotion from him. A beautiful penalty kick for the Spanish center back.
When Torres steps up to this, short run up, and then that hop step a la Jorginho from Chelsea. We see that more and more in the modern game. So difficult to defend if you're a goalkeeper. And really, the kick taker's waiting for you to move and then sends it the other way. They can go either way, but well executed from Torres.
So now RSL again. Can you match what the other team did It'll be Luis Rivera, the captain for this side. The left-footed shot from Rivera, and he sneaks it under the goalkeeper.
Rivera having the quality and gives the goalkeeper a bit of the eyes, opens up his body like he's going to go to his left, but then comes across his body to the right. But because he keeps it low, there's nothing the goalkeeper can do about it. So hard to get low quickly. The best goalkeepers in the world, they react quickly, almost cat-like. Nick Raimondo did that a few times. We've seen him do it. That's why RSL have an MLS Cup in their trophy cabinet.
Now, we roll on. Morales to step forward for Valencia, trying to keep his team ahead. The RSL players cheer. And Morales is shot is saved by Rinker.
Rinker's had an excellent game for Real Salt Lake. He's a big reason why they got back in the game. He kept them in the game for a long time, and this is not a good penalty kick. Hits it more central. Morales, a lefty, I think he's trying to go for the right side of that goal, but hits it way too central. And credit to Rinker, you have to make the save no matter what. He does it, and now, very interesting, Salt Lake have an opportunity to go up.
And it is Anthony Ramirez. He had the game winner against Austin in the round of 16. Working hard on the front line all game. Can Ramirez put his team ahead? And he slides it into the corner. The goalkeeper gets a touch. You see the frustration for Sanchez, but RSL leading 3-2 entering the fourth round.
And on this kick, I think Sanchez almost reacts so quickly. He gets there early, but then just a surprise at that bobble that the ball takes over his hand, or just under his hand, if you will. But something of note, all RSL kicks have gone to the right-hand side. I wonder if they'll mix it up, or if Sanchez will start picking up on that with the remaining kicks.
Well, Valencia desperately needs a make, so who else to step forward but the center back who scored the equalizer in stoppage time in Marino. Can he do it again? And calmly just rolls it into the side netting. What a penalty! This is a special young man.
And look at the swag, just slow walk back. He's earned that with not just the goal, but with that penalty kick. And just almost the ball moves in slow motion with how he hits this. Opens up his body like he's going to go to his right, which we've seen so many kicks go, but then rolls it very slowly to the bottom left corner.
Gozo's got 2 goals in this tournament. He had the assist on the goal in this game. In a week, he'll be in Italy with the U15 national team, facing off against Belgium, but right now he is trying to knock off Spanish competition for his team. Gozo makes this to put his team ahead 1. It'll be Xavier Gozo to step up, and he puts it down the middle.
What an impressive penalty kick from Gozo. If you know the goalkeeper's been diving from side to side, you got to put it up high. He puts it central, but it gets the height that it needs, just under the bar. Not many goalkeepers are going to save that unless they predicted that they're right in the middle of the goal.
And there'll be another substitute here in Pedro Puig. If he scores, RSL needs to score to win. If he misses, RSL moves on to the semifinals of the 2022 Generation Adidas Cup. Puig against Rinker. Puig, and he chips it.
And the substitute showing a bit of ice in his veins. Short run up. Waits for Rinker to dive aggressively to his left. And doing as most left footies do, they go to their left. So difficult to stop.
Well, who else to step up but the man who scored one of the best goals of the tournament in Kevin Hernandez. It was a winner against FC Cincinnati for him. It was a side volley here today to put away that stunning move for RSL. And now he has a chance to move them into the semifinals of the 2022 U15 Generation Adidas Cup. Hernandez with the shot, and it's saved by Sanchez! Once again, with their backs against the wall, Valencia survives, and we are in to the 6th round of penalties.
The turning of the tide in this PK shootout comes at the hands of Sanchez. Gotta feel for Hernandez. You see what it means to him. Just the emotions of the moment. It's become too much.
It'll be Diego Garcia to step forward. And you mentioned it, Michael. Every shooter had gone right for RSL. First time Hernandez goes to his left.
And I wonder if, because Sanchez had almost saved one, so many goalkeepers in this tie, if they get close to one, their confidence builds, they save the next.
So Diego Garcia to put Valencia back ahead.
And keep an eye on the footwork of Rinker. He steps out and just jumps towards that bar. Not the best penalty kick. I think the height of the PK gives him an opportunity. But Rinker, he's been special throughout this game, and he's got a good mentor to learn from in Nick Raimondo.
And for the second time here in this shootout, RSL has a make it and move on moment. This time it's the substitute, Roberto Garcia, to put his team into the semifinals. Rinker giving his side life once again. Can Sanchez save them? It's Garcia. Sanchez. These goalkeepers standing on their heads, and they are keeping their sides alive.
This game has more drama than a telenovela today. These goalkeepers are making entertaining, and the footwork, the hands, so distracting. If you're a PK taker, I almost wonder if it's a competition between these two now.
Right now, these teams are looking for their teammates to do them a favor and help them get through to the next round. It'll be Romeo Moya to step up. He was the danger man all first half. Closed out in the second half, but can he step up here? And Moya straight down the middle. And from the brink, 3 times in the last 10 minutes. Valencia, they trailed 1-0 in stoppage time. They fell behind twice in this penalty kick shootout. And now they're in a situation where if Barrios misses, they are moving on to the semifinals.
And credit to Sanchez, credit to this Valencia team for having the nerve, having the focus, and their center backs, just the poise to step up in one of the first 5 shots.
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for this young man, Dominic Barrios. His introduction at halftime for Andrew May was the difference for RSL to get back in it. And Barrios steps up, and Pedro Sanchez with the save, and Valencia will move on to the semifinals.
Wow. What a turn of events, especially in the second half. The credit to Sanchez for coming up big for Valencia. 3 PK saves from him in this knockout round game. And you see what it means to him. You see what it means to this staff. They've come a long way to compete in this tournament, and they move on. But also, kudos to RSL. They fought well, turned things around in the second half. So unfortunate for Barrios, because he was one of the best players on the field once he came in.
An unbelievable matchup. Valencia opening the game up, pushing RSL to their limits. RSL respond in the second half with one of the goals of the tournament, and then a stoppage time equalizer for Valencia sent us to penalty kicks. And now Valencia are moving on to the semifinals. They'll face off against the winner of Atlanta United and Tigres, which is our match coming up in just a few minutes. The 2022 Generation Adidas Cup U15 competition rolls on. An unbelievable win for Valencia. And we'll be back with your next game coming up in just a few moments.